This is Jacqueline Richardson and JJ Diamond, Jackie Dajour, whatever y'all call me. I'm back. Got the Amazon situation taken care of. Now I'm back to tell y'all about my miracle child, which is Nay Heightz, Dajour Harris. That's my son. Well, I wanted to tell y'all why he's my miracle child. 2 years before I got pregnant with him, I was very, very sick. It was 4 years before I got pregnant with him. I was very, very sick. I couldn't eat meats. I was always feeling like I was going to barf. So the doctors put me on some medication. They said I had ulcers and different things going on with me. So I lived my the ending of my teenage years, going into adult years, being ill with my stomach. I lost so much weight. I was 97 pounds. People didn't recognize me. They thought I had HIV. They thought I was, because HIV was big back in my day, where people was just popping up with HIV. Some people thought I was smoking crack, but I was actually sick with bleeding ulcers. I didn't eat no food for about a year. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, a little over a year. Okay, I lived off of the Ensure and Mylanta. Okay, those ulcers had to heal. They gave me some medication. They used to make me high as a kite in order to calm my body so the ulcers would stop bleeding. Why did I have ulcers at 17 years old? That's kind of strange, and that's when it started. I was 17, about to turn 18. That's when the ulcers started. After that, stress of being so sick, not being able to eat, and I lost weight, so much weight. I had put my daughter into modeling. That's my oldest child, Shaquana. I put her into modeling. So being that I was so little, I was 97 pounds. I could imagine me being 5'2", 97 pounds. I was a little tiny thing. It on? Off?
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second, guys. Get my air conditioner worked on, so I need to assist them a little bit. Turn it back on? I didn't answer because I'm on the podcast, so I didn't.
You turn it back on?
Is it coming back on? No? You want me to hit it again?
No, it's probably a delay.
Maybe if I put the temperature up.
It is on, right?
Yeah.
Turn the temperature down.
I mean, that's what I meant. Yeah, turn it down.
Yeah.
No, it's already down. Let me try again. It's already down on 60. It's already down on 60.
Is the thing beeping? It's like it's blinking?
No.
Sure? Check it.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing going on with it. It's just there. It just says 78 degrees on it.
Nothing is blinking?
Mm-mm. Now it won't come back on?
Mm-hmm.
It won't come back on then?
No, it's probably in a delay. Sometimes it'll take 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Come on. That's what. No, but normally it would blink. Then when it stops blinking, then it comes.
Then it come on.
So I'll come check it out.
All right, nothing's blinking. Yeah, nothing's blinking. I don't know. Don't know nothing about air conditions. But anyways. Okay, getting back to what I was saying, guys. So I was roughly about a year in of being sick, and I got used to it. I got used to not eating. I got used to drinking like 6 Ensures a day, drinking my Lancer. And then I met my daughter's father, and he's like, "Oh, you so little." And I said, "Yeah." And I explained to him, what was my issue. At the time, I was married, and my husband, he had a lot of issues, okay? He wanted a baby, and he kept saying that because I was sick, I couldn't have a baby, and I wouldn't get pregnant, and all this other stuff. However, and this is where, I say some people are just selfish. They don't look at the reality of it could be them. They just want to blame you, So anyway, he wound up leaving me because I felt like it was because I was sick. And I wound up getting with my my son's father. Shout out to Pernell. Throughout the duration of me being sick, and I met him, I was in modeling, as I had stated, me in Shaquana. And Pernell pretty much coached me back into eating because I was so afraid of eating. Because it used to hurt so bad. Okay, my belly would hurt so bad. I mean, it was like unbearable. I would literally, and this is no lie, I would put a pillow by the toilet. And at the bottom of the toilet is cool. And I would sleep on the bathroom floor because I wanted to be by the toilet just in case I felt like I had to, barf or poop. So it was a rough ordeal, and I went through that for almost a year. Okay. Then it started getting better. So then he wanted to start coaching me into eating. I started out with quarter-size pancakes. Then I would eat noodles and oatmeal. Those were the 2 things that I would eat. I wouldn't eat no meats. I wouldn't eat vegetables. I didn't eat no fruits. Those were the 3 things that I ate. Well, eventually, time went by, and I got pregnant with my son. But I wasn't eating. And this is why I call him a miracle child, because I wasn't eating. He was pretty much living off of my body, and he was trying to get out, okay? And my mother said she ain't never seen nothing like it. He was trying to come through the sides of my body, okay? I went in labor 3 times. The last time they couldn't stop it. They said, "We can't give you no more medicine to stop the labor. You're going to have to deliver." And it's funny because I was talking about this the other day, where if he would have stayed in there, he probably would have been like a 10-pounder, but he was born 4'9". He would try to come out. He was like, he's trying to stand up inside my body, sideways. It was like so amazing. And my mother would look, God bless her, and said, "What kind of baby is that you got in there trying to come out through the sides?" I said, "I don't know, Ma." She said, "You probably need to eat." I said, "Yeah." But I wasn't eating because I was afraid to eat because of what I experienced in the past. So the things that I would eat, while I was pregnant was I knew I had to eat. I said, Jackie, you have to eat. You can't starve the baby. So I would eat a lot of gandules rice and rotisserie chicken. And that's what got me through those two things. However, I gave birth to, I was wanting to give birth to the baby at home, but his father wouldn't allow me to. He called the ambulance and was like, nope, you're going to the hospital. So I wound up getting the ambulance to the hospital, to Lincoln Hospital. And that's where I gave birth to Nej Heightz at. And he was born at 4 pounds and 9 ounces. We thought he was going to have to stay in the incubator. But being that the boys that get circumcised stay a couple of days extra, it was actually a benefit for Nej Heightz because it helped him gain the weight that he needed to gain, which was 5 pounds. He was exactly 5 pounds on the day after being circumcised. He was eating like crazy, okay? Because it wasn't that he was sick. He just wasn't getting enough food. So when he was able to intake the food on his own, he was able to get his weight up fast. 3 days, we were gone. And it was like, okay, we're going to let you take him home. But he was the smallest baby. He was just so small. But once he started intaking food for himself, he turned into the son that I have today. And he's a wonderful son. Y'all know that he's a rapper. That's his name, Nej Heightz. You know, a lot of people think he was just a rapper that's on my label. But he's not just a rapper on my label. He's also my son. Okay. Nej Heightz also had some issues. When he was 1 year old, he fell playing with kids and bit off his tongue. And he had surgery for that at Sisters Hospital in Buffalo, New York. Because we moved from New York City to Buffalo, New York. So we've been, throughout the state. It took Nej Heightz, and I think I talked about this on a podcast a little bit. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But for those that missed it, here we go again. When he bit off his tongue, he couldn't talk. His tongue used to stay swollen. He was taking Motrin every single day for about a year. It was so expensive for me to buy Motrin to help him with the inflammation and the pain. Because he would be in so much pain, and he would just be, like, it's hard to explain. But I would just hold him and give him the medication and try to, ease the pain. And that's how we got through. Now, as time went on, he wouldn't talk. So Buffalo had said that they thought he was retarded. And I'm like, well, how can he be retarded when he wasn't born like this? He bit his tongue off. That's why he won't talk. I mean, how you going to speak if something happened to your tongue, especially as a young baby? But they wasn't trying to hear me. And I told him, I said, he's not retarded. He knows what he's doing. He just won't speak. Well, God sent a miracle in my life, and we moved to Maryland. And Maryland worked with my son. Shout out to Heavenly Grace Elementary, Heavenly Grace Middle. He only went to Heavenly Grace Middle for 1 year or half a year, but Heavenly Grace Elementary took their time and worked with my son. We have a video on our channel, Miss JJ Entertainment, where he was just learning how to speak. But he was deemed disabled, okay? He was playing baseball. As y'all see, it's up on the poster there. but wasn't able to speak. And that's what Buffalo told me. They told me, he would never be able to speak again. We're going to just say that he's retarded and let it go. This is why I tell people to always get second opinions, and God has the final say anyway. So as time went on, Maryland said, no, we think we could work with him because he does say some words. But he acts normal. So we know he's not retarded. We just need to get to the bottom of what's wrong with him. And his speech was delayed, And they got to the bottom of it. And when I say they got to the bottom of it, they got to the bottom of it. Because I listened to my son sing a rap song. And to me, it's so amazing. To the people that was around him during that time, it's amazing to them as well. Because they thought it would never happen. And that's how wonderful God is, okay? God gets the final say. My son was a good kid. I think I might have only had to spank him maybe one time for not listening. After that, never had a problem out of him. He always did what he needed to do, And that's my savior. Like when things are going bad for me and I need help, I could depend on him 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong. All my kids, they help me. You know what I mean? If need be, But that one is a little bit more special because he went through a lot and he's very strong, to do for his music career, it's a little hard because he works a lot. He reminds me of myself, and I have to coach him into learning that working so much can actually kill you instead of helping you, even though you're young, I don't want my son dead at 30 because he wants to work all these hours and make money. But my miracle child now is as big as a football player. That baby that was born in 4 pounds, 9 ounces. And as strong as an ox, We thought he was going to be the baseball player or even a boxer, because he has that punch, But he hasn't decided yet really what he really wants to do. I think he wants to do some movies, I can see some of his videos on YouTube. Just pull up Nej Heightz. It's JJ Entertainment. And you'll see some of his videos. You can also go on my page, on Miss JJ Entertainment page, on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And you'll see a lot of his videos of him rapping. This was a kid that couldn't talk at all. I thought we was going to have to get into sign language, And my daughter came to me the other day and she was doing sign language. And I was like, what are you doing sign language for? She was like, they teaching me on TikTok how to do sign language. And it's crazy because, at my job, there's a lot of people there that they don't speak. They're deaf. So they do sign language. And I was just sitting there thinking that how blessed I am, even though learning sign language is a blessing itself. However, I felt like I was tremendously blessed because I didn't need to learn sign language because he wound up speaking. So he didn't have to learn sign language to communicate with me. Because he was able to hear me. He just couldn't speak back. So he would have had to learn sign language in order to speak to us, and I would have had to learn sign language in order for me to understand what he was saying. That was the next step if Maryland did not get him to speak. And it was a process. It was a process. But we went through it with the faith of God, knowing that he was going to deliver my son. And he did. And if you listen to my son's songs, you know, he always put God in it, and I always put God in my songs too, because we love God highly for the things that he has overcame for us. Okay? So when I tell you God can move mountains, he can move any mountain that is in your life, in your way. And this is one of the reasons why I don't worry. You know, I may worry a little, but not much. And the reason being is because I've seen God do miracles. Miracles on health, miracles on my son's speech. Even when I was in a car accident in Buffalo, it was a miracle that the Mack truck, if it would have hit me a little bit closer, it would have smashed me all the way to the passenger side. But it hit the back in the middle where the doors connect. That's what saved me. So by him moving that truck over a little bit is what saved me, because I could possibly be dead today. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, they take it for granted. You know, like I may tell them, you know, yeah, I'm a Christian. You know, I believe in God highly. And they look at me, well, aren't you supposed to be like this? Aren't you supposed to be like that? No. You can be yourself, okay? You know what sins you're not supposed to commit and what sins that you need to stay away from, you know? And I try to live my life not sinning. Sometimes it's hard, you know? But then you talk to God about it, and God will help you through it. When I tell people I'm at the level of understanding God in the way he do things, I'm at the level of understanding God and why he do things. Reason being is because he's been in my life since I was a young child. You know, I tell you the story about my little brother, you know, and I didn't understand why my brother had to die in order for me to be saved. You know, but during that time, all I did was pray and talk to God, because that's all I had. You know, when me and my brother was being abused, and my brother was raped and killed. So I have a long, long relationship with God. Very, very long relationship with God. You know, so when things occur in my life, you know, people be like, well, you're not worried? You're not? No, because I walk with God. He hasn't failed me yet. You know, he hasn't failed my kids yet. You know, I keep the faith. I ask him to give me mercy. I try my best to be a good servant. And that's what it's all about, being a good servant. Meaning, even when people are mistreating you, you know, but a person could take but so much sometimes. But even when a person is mistreating you, you can turn the other cheek and keep it moving. Because God will handle them. I can say that my mom knew, or something told my mom, open up the doors for her to know God, because she knew I was going to need him. I've been through the worst in my family. You know, people say, oh, you don't look like you've been through anything. That's because I have God carrying me. If people knew the shoes that I've walked, they wouldn't be so mean. They wouldn't be so jealous. They wouldn't be so hateful. They lived in my shoes just for 10 years. And I've been on this earth for 50. I'm just giving them one of 10 years, 1 decade of my life to know what I've been through, and it wouldn't last. The only way you will last in my life, in my shoes, is to know God. It's the only way. Being a Native American, I was around, especially in Buffalo, around a lot of my Native family. And when I say around them, meaning them walking around with the feathers, the hats, the real natives, the chiefs. And I used to ask God, why you brought me here, I needed to know my culture. And I continue to teach, and I continue to be around people of my kind so I can teach them. Native people are very godly. Native people are also religious too. The earth is our peace. God is our peace. We pray more outside than we do indoors, because we feel more connected with God when we're with his trees and his birds and the water. What song is that? I have Ay Ay Ay, I think it is, where I say the phrase, where I was sitting by the river. River Parkway, yeah, I think that's the song. It's in Ay Ay Ay. And I say how I threw all my problems into the river. That's how we communicate with God, through water and through nature. That's the Native American way, I didn't learn that I was a Native American verified until recently, within the last 7 years. Once I looked it up and saw my grandma's name in the database. And I said, so it's true, so this is why we do things the way we do things. So I had to accept it, but I'm also Hispanic as well. So I live both cultures. But I'm thankful that I was taught about God, because that defines who I am as a person, But today's people are so evil, and they're demons. They don't even understand godly people. They've never been taught about God themselves. So they don't understand the way we move, the way we do things, the way we see things. A lot of people say, oh, well, why don't you leave the rap music alone? My son wanted to be a rapper. That's my son. My one and only son. I'm going to continue to be loyal and help my son. This is not about anybody else. This is about my son and our culture. It's one thing about the Native American culture that people don't know. They talk about how the Hispanics, they stick by their people. Well, the Native American culture also stick by their people. Okay, for those that don't know. It doesn't matter if they're white or black, because Native Americans are white and black. It's not defined by white or black. It's defined by the culture and the way we were raised and the things that we do. Our loyalty is strong to our people. And that's just what it is. Y'all notice I show my eyes. People used to always say to me, how you get them color eyes? You wearing contacts? No. It's a Native American. The tribe that I'm from. I was very, what they call me, distinctive when I was up in New York. But down here in Charlotte, there's a lot of people from my tribe. They got them same color eyes as me. So to me, they're family. Because we're from the same tribe. And my job as a Native American is to teach the younger ones our culture so they can keep it going. That's my job. That's my assignment. Because if they don't know their job and their assignment, they would never be able to complete life the correct way as a Native American. So I must continue to teach. I'm not going to stop teaching. All my Native American kids that's here in Charlotte, they're doing well. I'm proud of them. I keep talking, and but they're going to go through their trials and tribulations, because that's what it is with life. Especially when we're dealing outside of our culture. Things are not going to go the way we see it should go, but we're strong enough to bite the bullet and keep it moving, with the faith of God and knowing what the universe has to offer us. And the same with my son. I'm going to keep him grounded, and keeping faith and learning his position as a Native American. But yes, that's my miracle child, y'all. He is a strong individual, very strong, He reminds me a lot of myself when I look at him, He works real hard, And you hear it in his music when he, he couldn't talk for so many years, so now he gets to express himself, and not only express himself to other human beings, but to the world. It's a beautiful thing. Our music is heard in over 47 countries. It may be more now, So we feel blessed, that people all around the world get to hear him speak when this was a child that didn't speak until almost age 7. When the average baby is speaking at 10 months to a year. So we feel the miracle. Some people may not feel the miracle, but that's the story behind Nej Heightz. Where my husband thought I couldn't conceive no longer. And it wasn't me, it was him. And then as soon as I got with my son's father, I conceived and made a miracle child. That's the story behind Nej Heightz. Y'all make sure y'all check out Nej Heightz. Hopefully new music will be coming soon. He just works so much, and I want to get him pulled up out of there. I've been trying to sell my copyrights so we can get Nej Heightz on the stages, and even myself in Egypt. I've been trying so hard to get these copyrights sold and get my family where they need to be, so I can we can go forward. And because I'm not supposed to be staying on with the industry after 55. I'm supposed to be totally retiring from the music industry at 55. I started young, I stopped, and then came back in to help my son. However, they gave me a limit of 55. So I only have 2 more years to figure it out on his behalf, and people keep trying to interfere, and then they wonder why karma is hitting them in the head with negativity, because you're interfering with a time frame that God had for me to complete an assignment. So yeah, I'm trying to sell these copyrights, get us on these stages, and then I'm going to pull out. Nej Heightz is actually an owner of the music label. He is an owner of the nonprofit, and he is an owner of Diamond Way LLC. So he does own the same things that I own. And he is a rapper as well. So we pretty much are doing the same things, just in 2 different areas. I work a little bit harder with the businesses because I'm the one building the businesses. But he is an owner. He focused on just working to keep the businesses going, the music part of it going. And we're looking for more artists. Of course, we can't pay you, contracts up front. But we're still working to sell the copyrights, so we will be able to, if not pay people with the contract, at least pay you for doing a show. Okay, so that's our next step coming up that we're working on. So if you're interested in trying to get built up and to be on that stage with us when we do get the funding, holla at us, because it's a process. It's not when you make a song today and then tomorrow you on the stage. It doesn't work that way. Everything is a process. Your time will come, and this is just what it is. But y'all know how to contact me. Y'all can always Google me. My telephone number is all over Google. You can email me. My emails is all over Google. And that's just where we're at. With Miss JJ Entertainment, Nej Heightz. We have Nej Heightz, Egypt, and myself, a music artist, and Almighty Jah. Almighty Jah is not focusing and doesn't want to make any more music at this time. Egypt is not making any music at this time. So it's just me and Nej Heightz right now. And that's just where it is. But we're still here. We're not going nowhere. Even though I have to retire at 55, we're still not going nowhere because I have other businesses to run. So Miss JJ Entertainment will still remain. Okay? We are business. And this is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie Dajour, whatever y'all call me. I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.